Hey, super friends. My name is Neil, and welcome to a scorchingly hot episode of the Get Your Comic Con podcast. Not just because of the subject matter of what we're going to be talking about, but because we are at the end of a pretty horrendous heat wave here in the UK right now. We have spent all week in 30+ degree heats. It is currently 27.8 in the room that I am recording in. So we're all a bit frazzled. Cat's just about to walk right across the screen while I'm in the middle of recording. So yeah, if this gets a little wild, just blame the heat, and that's why the window's open behind me. We're going to be talking about all of the fun that's come from the Annecy Annecy International Animation Film Festival, which is quite a mouthful to say, because there has been a ton of announcements from there this week about all things animation, tons of DC stuff, which is really exciting that we're going to get into, as well as some very cool non-DC stuff as well. Seems like Warner Brothers really owned this festival because a lot of it is Warner Brothers related. And then we are going to be reviewing bit of a hot potato on social media this week, which is DC Studios Supergirl, currently in cinemas across the world. If some people are to be believed, then no one is watching it. If other people are to be believed, this film has quite a rabid audience. We're going to get into it and see what we all thought of it. But first, I'm joined, as always, of course, by Aaron and Michael. Aaron, how you doing? Staying cool?
Yeah, I mean, my temperature is currently saying 20, so I mean that's probably the best it's been all week.
Nice.
But I'm doing all right considering I unintentionally ditched the last episode.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Oh god, here we go. Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but I'm back to
you were really busy because you were in the middle of Tribeca, weren't you, when we were recording our last episode?
Yeah, covered Tribeca for Film Hounds, and I think I watched like 7 films in total. But on top of that, Download Festival was slap bang in the middle of when I was supposed to be doing my coverage, which I also went to. Then I spent the week after trying to get back into the swing of Tribeca stuff, which was a bit hard when your hearing's shot and your brain's a bit and then I think that week as well I also saw Beetlejuice, the musical, and Disclosure Day. So there was a lot of stuff all in one week, but now everything's kind of getting back to normal now, thank God.
You enjoyed Beetlejuice, didn't you? I was supposed to be there, but it ended up clashing with the Supergirl premiere.
Yeah, I loved it. It's a lot funnier than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting just the film with songs in it. Yeah. And from the word go, they kind of throw expectations out the window and do things a little differently. But it is really, really fun.
Nice. Michael, how are you doing?
Hello. I am warm, but I'm okay, thank you.
You started a new job?
I did. I started a new job, a really good new job. I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. The people are really nice. It's just like a content kind of job. But yeah, enjoying it. Busy, warm, and watching a lot of movies, reading a lot of comics. So it's a good time.
I'm sorry, I've got a kid screaming outside my window right now, which is why I'm trying to be.
Yeah, he sounds like he's in pain.
He's really not happy about the heat right now. So
he's not happy about my new job, clearly. So
that's the noise that I've been making internally all week at the heat in this flat. So, Annecy International Animation Film Festival, which really is quite a name, takes place in France, in Annecy, which we have just been learning is over the far side towards the Swiss border. It is a major animation festival, takes place every single year, in case you haven't heard of it before. A lot of the big studios go there to show off things that they're working on, announce new projects. DC has done stuff there before and had kind of teased that they were going to be doing some stuff there this year. And I don't know about you guys, but it sort of felt like it was like, oh, okay, cool. So while I was at a screening for Supergirl on Tuesday, they dropped the trailer for Batman Nightfall, which is this new animated trilogy that's starting hopefully later this year with Anson Mount back as the voice of Batman. And that's adapting Nightfall, which, if you don't know it, is the really famous comic book where Bane picks him up and snaps his spine over his knee, which famously then inspired Chris Nolan for The Dark Knight Rises. So I knew that was kind of coming, and then it was just like, oh, okay, so they've been previewing some other stuff. Oh, okay, we've got a trailer for Cape Crusader season 2. Oh, okay, they've just announced this new Joker show. Oh, okay, they've just announced the Crypto show. cool, they've shown off some stuff from Starfire. Oh, and they've announced a new Batman show. Right. And it was just like, okay, there is a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Aaron, thankfully, you also have kept up with some of the non-DC related stuff. So we can go over all of that. Absolute Batman as a TV series.
Crazy.
I did not see this coming.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm obsessed with that, though. I think it's going to be such a good TV show.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, animation, like, the characters in the Absolute world are so crazy looking that I think it makes so much sense for it to be animated. It's going to be so cool.
So a lot of these projects don't have release dates or anything yet. They're things that are currently in development being worked on. We've seen a logo for Absolute Batman, which is just a logo from the comic. We know that Scott Snyder, who writes the comic book, is going to be the showrunner of the animated show. And Nick Dragotta, who is the main series artist who did all of the character designs, is going to be a producer on the show. So he's also helping to kind of design the look of it. We do know it's fully CG, which is interesting. And they showed off the model of Batman to the people in the room. So people who were there at Annecy have seen what this Batman model looks like. And I hear it's basically perfect. But they haven't released that image to the public, so we haven't seen it. Wow.
Do you know what I'm hoping this is like? There was a Spider-Man series in like the early 2000s on MTV called the new Spider-Man, the new animated series. And I'm hoping tonally or like visual, because that dipped into horror a little bit and it was really dark. And I'm really hoping.
I got that on DVD somewhere.
Yeah, I did have it, and I don't know where it's gone, and I'm quite sad. But I kind of hope. Obviously, the Absolute comics are, as Michael said, deranged and a bit mental and very really dark. But yeah, I kind of hope they dip into that sort of territory a little bit while still keeping the essence. It's kind of mad they're doing it now, considering the comic only started like 2 years ago.
Yeah, we're just about to hit 2-year anniversary for Batman. Batman was the first one of the Absolute books.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird because I've never known something like that to happen where like
so fast.
A comic is literally still new in like realistic general terms, and then they're already doing an adaptation of it. Like that is pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have anticipated it being a show either. I would have thought maybe an animated movie that could do sort of the origin, maybe the first arc from the comic. So to go series is impressive.
Do you think that's because they're going to spin it off and have, because obviously the Absolute stories, there's so many different avenues that they could go down. Obviously there's Batman, but like, do you think that's because they can make it into other TV shows, like following the characters? What do you think?
Because you've got, so I think it went Batman first, and then I think Wonder Woman was second, and then Superman was third. So Batman will hit its 2-year anniversary. Wonder Woman will then come next, and then Superman. But then you've also got Flash, Martian Manhunter, Absolute Catwoman just started, which is a short thing. One shot coming for Cassandra Cain, who I don't think will be Batgirl per se, but it's, you know, she is obviously Batgirl in the main universe. So there's a ton. There's a ton of ways it can go, and I think they're building towards the kind of Absolute Justice League as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've literally just started reading Absolute Martian Manhunter, and it is incredible.
The artwork is so cool.
I know, that's half the reason why I wanted to read it, because I saw like people putting clips up about it, and I'm like, oh, this is my cup of tea. But they have the opportunity here to maybe, because yes, all the Absolute comics are different stylistically and they're dark, but I think they have an opportunity here to make each one stylistically different from one another. So like Martian Manhunter could be in the style of the comic, like it could be 2D, very trippy, very, you know, half the images don't quite make sense, but that's kind of the point of it. And then Wonder Woman could maybe really double down on like, I don't know. I don't know what they could do, but I feel like they've got that opportunity to give each one its own unique art style.
Wonder Woman has got a lot of magic in it. It's very magic based. And there's a lot of very big creatures and lots of time spent in the underworld. So that has a lot of mythology to it, which is really interesting. Superman is very spacey. He's very, very different. His costume alone is worthy of its own adaptation, because it's like the cape is almost like a living entity that speaks to him, and it's like nothing you've ever come across before, really. And Batman just is almost a horror show because everyone's so grotesque in Batman. Like Croc, we've seen Killer Croc is really grotesque. Joker is really
Awful.
like
Mr. Freeze's nightmare fuel.
Yes, Mr. Freeze's nightmare fuel. And the most recent issue just left off with a huge spoiler alert, Joker related cliffhanger as well. I've got the next issue and I don't know why I haven't read it yet because it's like burning at me to get to it to see what happens next because it just ends at one of those moments where you're like, no, come on. Like, oh. Scott Snyder's been in London this week as well, visiting family, and I've just been like, Scott, I was like, do you want to come to Supergirl? And also just tell us a bit about what's going on with Batman, please. Such a dude.
Come on the pod.
But yeah, I can't wait. So the other two announcements, there was a crypto show, which is for young kids, so it's a more child-focused animated comedy series. The plot line is Superman Superdog accidentally tags along with a neighborhood gang of misfit wannabe criminals. His aggressively pure and good nature ends up inadvertently redeeming the crooks against their will. It's being executive produced by C.H. Greenblatt, who is the person behind Jellystone and Chowder.
I love Chowder. Yes.
Sorry,
I thought that name sounded familiar. Sorry.
So again, all we've seen is a logo for that one. Love when they do kid-related stuff. I mean, that's perfect because kids loved Crypto in Superman.
Also, Chowder's sense of humor is weird. Like, if it's the same sense of humor as Chowder, then that's going to be. I'm not that I'm complaining, but like it's going to go in a weird territory.
Nice.
Yeah. Love that though.
And Crypto obviously quite a big role in Supergirl, but I'm not sure that one's quite so kid-friendly.
Mm.
We'll get to that in a minute. And then Joker Laugh Riot. So this is another one I never saw coming. I was really hoping they were going to announce more Harley Quinn, which sadly they didn't. So we continue to wait to see if Harley Quinn will get another season. But the showrunner has been teasing a Bane spin-off. So that's kind of awesome because he is quite iconic in that show. So this is DC Studios' first ever official anime series. And the plot follows Joker embarking on a crusade through Gotham's criminal underworld after Batman is murdered. He transitions from the clown prince of crime to a dark vigilante as he grapples with the realization that he doesn't know who he is without his arch nemesis, which I kind of love. It's a thing that they play on in the comics a lot, which is Joker doesn't want anyone else to get to Batman because he's his. Why would he allow someone else to get there first? So the fact that this is going to take on a world where Joker isn't in control and someone has killed Batman is kind of interesting to me. I think that could go in a really interesting direction.
Me too. What I want to know is who killed Batman.
Well, exactly. Will that be a thing that it ever actually tells us, or will that be part of the mystery? So it's helmed by Chow award-winning director Yashiro Aoki, who previously worked on Warner Brothers Animation and Solar's joint feature Lord of the Rings. It's the War of the Rohirrim guys.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will, that film was beautiful. It looked amazing. The trailblazing show will take viewers alongside Joker as he launches a ruthless crusade through Gotham's underworld, blah, 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 blah. It's got Jim Krieg working on it, who is an absolute legend of DC animation. Like, if you look at anything, pretty much all the way back to Beataz, Krieg's name will show up. And it's also being, I think, produced and part developed by Tim Sheridan, friend of the show. I've interviewed him many, many times. Who wrote some of the DC animated movies like Superman, Man of Tomorrow, not as in next year's live action one, the animated one from a few years ago where Darren Criss played Superman, who also is a really, really wonderful comic book writer, has done loads of stuff at DC and has just been doing Star Trek Lower Decks comics. He has an amazing sense of humor, so I'd love to see how that translates into this. But
I was also going to say, yes, I saw Chow at London Film Festival last year. And I think James as well on our website has seen it.
I think he has.
Or he's interviewed the director. And that film is one of the most, in terms of just the visuals alone, is one of the most how did I describe it? It's like an anime equivalent of looking through a kaleidoscope. Like there are just colors and things being thrown at you, but it doesn't feel like it's too much. It's it's quite beautiful. So the fact that he's helming this,
Yeah,
and you've got, like you said, the team from War of the Rohirrim on board, has me. I didn't know about this one actually out of all the announcements, but this one has me very, very intrigued because I know what these people are capable of.
a few friends have kind of rolled their eyes a little bit, saying, "Oh, great, more Joker," because there aren't any other characters that you could spend time exploring. But I don't know, the premise I think the premise makes it sound really interesting. And yeah, the great creative team behind it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, great, another Joker thing." But then I read the synopsis. I was like, "Actually, I redact that statement because that actually sounds really good." So
yeah,
we shall see. But
in
yeah,
my
I
head,
would.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's good. I would love them to do more characters and stuff. But yeah. I think.
My head jumped to like Alan Tudyk's Joker from Harley Quinn and what he would be like in this situation, and then I thought, does that have much sort of mileage? But actually, I think given the style that they're going for, I think it will be very much not like that.
Yeah, very much the opposite of that, I think.
Yes.
Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
Yeah. So those were the big announcements. They did also show off footage of which we haven't seen any because none of it's been publicly released from Starfire. So Starfire is a series they announced a year or so ago, which is, again, a little bit more kid-friendly. Hayden Walsh returns to voice Starfire. So that is the voice from the Teen Titans cartoon, which is wonderful. So the series features an alien girl team, including Crush, Fern, and Amethyst in Vega Galaxy. And it has the musical duo of Puffy Amiyumi, who did the theme tune to Teen Titans, returning to do a theme song.
Brilliant.
And it's just going to follow Starfire living her life out in the galaxy. So that sounds really fun. My Adventures with Green Lantern, they showed a first look and gave some details off about that project. I've heard it was really explosive and looked huge. She, spoiler alert, turns up in an episode of season 3 of My Adventures of Superman. The episode should already be out, so that shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. We were completely gagged on saying who the voice actor is. I don't know if you guys have heard who it is. Auli Cavallo, aka the voice of Moana.
Moana, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar.
So Moana is the voice of Green Lantern, basically. So that's Jessica Cruz. She shows up for an episode very, very brief cameo in an episode of My Adventures with Superman season 3. Again, we don't have a premiere date for My Adventures with Green Lantern, but I think they're pretty much done with production on season 1, so hopefully coming soon. They showed some early footage from Mr. Miracle, which is confirmed to be set in the DCU. That's Tom King's Mr. Miracle being adapted into a series. Tom King is showrunning. He's confirmed that all of the characters' actors will be their proper castings for the DCU. So we're going to get Mr. Miracle, we're going to get Barda, and we're going to get Darkseid. So we're literally about to find out who is the DCU's Darkseid. So again, some people feel it's a little bit too early to be casting him, and also why introduce him in a cartoon, but it's going to be an amazing cartoon based on the book that's coming from.
Yeah. I think it's a bit early, which makes me wonder what they've got planned. If they're willing to introduce Darkseid so soon, that means they've obviously got a plan of how to use him. So
and they might be based on how we're about to talk about Supergirl, they might be feeling a little bit shaky about adapting a Tom King book, but it's an Eisner Award-winning fan favorite book, so we'll see how it goes. They showed the trailer for Batman Caped Crusader season 2. We do have a release date for this one. This is coming to Prime Video on July the 31st, 2026. We know that Joker is turning up. More Joker. Riddler, Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, who is gender swapped like the Penguin was in season 1. Roxy Rocket is appearing, which is a character Bruce Timm created for Batman the Animated Series, who he's bringing back for this. And Man-Bat also made a little cameo in this new trailer. Have you guys watched season 1? Did you watch season 1 of this program?
No, but it's on my list of stuff to watch. It's on my list of stuff to watch, to be fair. It does look really good. But no.
It's a good show. It is very, very different to Batman the Animated Series. I think people thought it would be quite similar because it's Bruce Timm, but it is very, very different. But you've also got Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams who are producers on it, so there's some different voices in the mix. It's an interesting show. It doesn't quite hit as magically as Beatles did in its first series, but it is a much, much, much darker version of Batman, and it's a very interesting show. And I'm intrigued to see where it goes for season 2. It was a good trailer.
Yeah,
We'll see. I'm kind of interested to how they do Joker as well. We'll see what they do with him, because again, obviously, it's a character that everyone knows, and we've seen so many different interpretations. It's a bit like, what can you do that's original? But we'll see.
Yeah, what's left?
So he's introduced in a little stinger in season 1, and it's one of the darkest moments in the show, because you kind of close off, spoiler alert, the main story, and then it's like fade to black, and then it fades up, and there's this sort of like shack somewhere in the docks of Gotham, and inside are all these dead bodies of people with like twisted, contorted faces. And then there's one person left who's still alive, tied to a chair, and he's laughing maniacally, and then just dies. And then you see that Joker's basically been experimenting on them with some kind of serum, and then that's it. It cuts. You don't even see more than his eyes, so we haven't seen what his face looks like yet. They've animated it in like a Morticia Adams. Like, it's really darkly lit apart from the eyes, and you just get to hear a little bit of the laugh. So could be a very, very sinister version of him. We'll wait and see. So that's Caped Crusader season 2, back on the 31st of July 2026 on Prime Video. I haven't seen any yet. I'm begging. I'm literally begging at the door of Prime Video, like, please show me episodes.
This could be an episode.
It's Hamish Linklater that plays Batman as well, which is a really interesting bit of casting. I wasn't sure what he would be like as Batman, but he's really good.
He is a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also some footage from Creature Commando season 2, but I've seen nothing written about it. I don't even know if they've finished animating it yet. I think it was just a little sizzle of things to come. So excited. I'm hoping that because we got that show so far behind the US, because we didn't have HBO Max at the time, and now we do, I'm hoping it lands a bit better with season 2 in the UK, because I think a lot of people here didn't really get it and almost didn't know it existed in a way, because it wasn't available here when it was available in America.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've still not managed to watch it, because up until like recently, we've not had it to watch.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you will really like it as well. I think you will really enjoy the characters that are in it.
Yeah, I've actually managed to avoid a lot of spoilers weirdly for it. So I think I managed to get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Definitely.
So I do want to watch it. It's on the list.
Have you seen it, Aaron? I can't remember.
No, mainly because the one time I wanted to watch it, it was really unclear where you could. But
course,
again, like Michael,
it's
on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list.
That was a lot of DC stuff. Aaron, hit us up with your list. What's on the non-DC list of announcements, which is probably something Warner Brothers owned?
Yeah, to be honest, the good first few of these are Warner Brothers adjacent. So the first one, which doesn't have a release date yet or any further information outside of just it being announced, is a Powerpuff Girls film, animated.
I was about to say, please tell me that's animated and not, the cast of the CW pilot that never got released.
Yeah, no, it's animated. Again, no information other than the fact it's happening, and it's Warner Brothers animations division fully handling it. On a similar note, there is a Conan the Barbarian animated series coming from Genndy Tartakovsky, who obviously was the original creator of Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory and all that. That's hitting Prime Video.
Oh, wow.
Again, it's a bit uncertain at the moment, but it just says 2027 or 2028. They're still currently working on it.
Warner Brothers must have a really tight working relationship. Well, Warner Brothers Animation must have a really tight working relationship with Prime. There's a fair amount of stuff going back and forth, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw it had Prime Video attached to it, because everything he's done recently, like Primal and the Samurai Jack, like the extra season they did, I think it was like season 5, that just went straight to HBO Max. So the fact that he's doing this and it's going straight to Prime, even though it does have Warner Brothers attachment on it, it's not confusing. It's just a bit like, oh, that's a choice. But if it works for the Batman, if it works for Caped Crusader and all the Batman stuff, then I'm not complaining.
Fair.
Yeah, there was also, keeping it Warner Brothers themed, there was also the announcement of a Hello Kitty film.
Interesting. I think I did see that, actually.
Yeah, there's like that picture of their slate, and you got like Cat in the Hat for this
Of
year.
course. Oh yeah, I
And then
missed the
you've
DC
got-
one, didn't I? We'll talk about that.
You got Dynamic Duo, which I think you might have missed.
Yes, I did
in
miss
your-
Dynamic Duo. Can you believe it?
Yeah, and that is slated for 2028, and I think Hello Kitty's also for 2028.
Yeah,
Again,
it
I
seems
don't.
like they have a lot that they've not given specific dates for, but they've said what year they're coming.
Yeah, and I think those two fit in that category where like nothing was shown, nothing was like no details. It was literally just this is the film that's coming.
So I think Dynamic Duo
Yeah.
has been in production. Oh, so that was announced in 2024.
Yeah.
This is the mixed media story of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, which is part puppets, part live
CG,
action, part animation.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of what the company has done before, it looks absolutely incredible. Like just not like anything you've ever seen before. Like to think that we would ever get a stop motion DVD film, DC film, a stop motion DVD film. It's just especially as one of their first announcements as well, because that was one of the first films that they announced alongside Superman was this idea of Dynamic Duo. So yeah, intrigued to see that. But yeah, now you mention it, I had seen Hello Kitty was on that slate announcement as well.
Yeah,
That's a wild film choice.
Yeah, I don't know what. I really hope it's not like veering in Emoji Movie territory, and it's more like Lego Movie territory. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's a fine line of how good it's going to be, and it's
You're either going to be Playmobil movie or a movie, and there is no middle ground. You're either one or the other.
I've never seen a Playmobil movie.
You're not missing much.
And will this film explain whether Kitty is actually a cat or not?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. These are the questions I want to
see.
The
internet tries to tell me that it's not a cat.
Yeah, me too. That's a person. But then we've never seen her as a person. We've seen her as a cat. So make it make sense. And Hello Kitty origin story.
That's exactly what we need, unfortunately. We just need them to explain what on earth it actually is.
X-Men Origins Kitty. That's all we need.
Hello Kitty, Pink Knight. Yeah.
There is one more Warner Brothers announcement before I just rattle through the remaining ones. Lunar Chronicles, which I think is a film. Coming.
That name is familiar.
Yeah, it's based off a book series. It's Warner Brothers working with Locksmith Animation that did Ron's Gone Wrong a couple years ago. And that is slated 2028. Again, I don't really know much about it other than it's based off a book series and they're turning it into a film. That's why I was a bit confused, because I thought, if it's a book series, they're turning it into a TV show. Apparently, it's just a film. The name Lunar Chronicles also gave me the impression it was an ongoing series, but apparently it is a film. You've got, moving away from Warner Brothers, finally, you've got Snoopy Unleashed for Apple TV coming out next year, which is a full feature-length film in the same animation style as the 2015 one that Blue Sky Animation did. I think they did show the film at Annecy. Like, I think it is at a stage where like they can show the majority of it, and I think they did show like a 99% finished version of the film at the festival. But again, don't really know much else other than the title and the fact that it's dropping on Apple next year. This kind of got announced just before Annecy, but then I think they released some further details of it. Illumination film called Not Alone, starring Selena Gomez and Timothy Chalamet.
I saw the poster for that.
Yeah, I think the poster dropped just as the festival was about to start, and then I think Illumination gave a bit of info, but again, I don't think it was masses more than what was initially announced. That's slated for, I want to say early next year, but I'm not 100% sure. It just has a 2027 stamp on it. Then the rest of it are just some small extra new bits of footage and info that dropped for films that we already know are coming out from Disney. So they had a whole presentation, showed a fair bit of footage for Hexed, which comes out later this year.
That looks really cool. I really like the trailer.
Yeah,
Me too.
I don't think I've actually seen the trailer. I didn't realize one had dropped.
Yeah, no, it dropped last. I think it was last week. It could have even been the end of the week before.
Yeah, it's Haley Steinfeld, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
I need to watch
Really
that.
good.
But to coincide with Hex, they also announced that there will be a Lilo and Stitch animated short that will play in front of it in cinemas called Lilo and Scratch.
Ooh.
Again, don't really know much about it other than the fact that I think Scratch is a cat. I think.
Oh,
Hang on.
it's not the cat from Gatto, is it? Is it a crossover?
No, it's a little pink, demonic-looking cat with really just like black eyes that look like voids. Yeah, it's a little cat. It's a little pink cat for some reason. And the last thing, which is still Disney related, is Gatto, which they showed a fair bit of clips of and a presentation of, which is slated for next year. That's Pixar's newest film. Because Pixar have had a hell of a year with Toy Story and Hoppers, so it seems fair that they're not dropping 3 films on us this year. So
Yeah,
that is next year's one, and that's all. There were tons more announcements. Like I think there was like an Adventure Time spin-off and stuff like that, but those are like the big ones I've got written down.
Yeah,
really busy festival. Gonna have
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Someone's gonna have to go next year, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, are you
We'll all
sure?
go. Yeah, I mean it's in France. If you twist my arm, I might go.
Okay, well,
All
that's
right.
excitement from Annecy that we have just been talking about that you are most excited by. Are you looking forward to a Joker show? Are you looking forward to a Batman show? Do you know whether Hello Kitty is a kitty or not? Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you thought was exciting about that, or if there's one that we missed, then please do let us know, because it seems like there was so much news. I'm sure there is something that we forgot somewhere. Which leads us into our big review for this episode. Michael's already making faces in a way that's like, I am preparing to come into this one.
He's just like rounding up, like, oh.
Yeah. I'm preparing to plead my case, and
So this is DC Studios Supergirl that we are going to review now. The film released in UK cinemas on June the 25th. It began its proper global rollout on June the 26th. We are recording this on the 28th, so we don't even have a full weekend box office yet. But it's not looking as hopeful as maybe I thought it would have. But it looks like it's hopefully going to make somewhere between 70 and 80 million globally this weekend, which is not an amazing start, but you know, it is what it is. Enjoyment over box office, please. Film is directed by Craig Gillespie, who you will know as the director of I, Tonya and Cruella. It stars Millie Alcock as Kara Zor-El / Supergirl. People know her from House of the Dragon, where she played the young someone.
Rhaenyra.
Thank you. I was going to say Allison, but that's the other one. Thank you very much. And she was introduced briefly in a cameo in Superman last year. It also stars Matthias Schoenaerts as Krem of the Yellow Hills, the villain from the Superman Woman of Tomorrow comic book, who is loosely translated into this film. Eve Ridley stars as Ruthie Marie Knoll, who is a young girl who recruits Supergirl on her journey to avenge her father's death. David Krumholtz and Emily Beecham star as Zor-El and Allura, who are Kara's parents. You also have David Corenswet as Superman, who crops up a number of times in this film, and Jason Momoa as Lobo, finally playing the role that he went to meet Warner Brothers about a decade ago before he was strong-armed into playing Arthur Curry. Score is by Claudia San, which was a name I was not overly familiar with beforehand, but I already have the soundtrack pre-ordered on vinyl because it's a sexy vinyl and a good soundtrack. And I think that's probably all I want to say at this point. Second, I should probably point out this is only the second theatrical release in the DCU, so we're still really early days in their theatrical storytelling, although obviously there are bits of story that carry on from Peacemaker and other things that will go across the entire DCU. Right. I've seen this film twice, I'm going to say. Weirdly, there are bits of this film I've now seen 4 times because of what I saw at the 4DX presentation and then the fan event, and then I have seen the film twice. I have lots of thoughts. We will get to mine. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to go first? Look at him. Look, Michael's literally like...
I have a question. Before we kick off, what clip did you see from the film? Can you tell us now?
Okay. So the 4DX event that I went to like nearly 3 weeks ago was the bus So it started with her in the bus stop, getting on the bus, and then it was the bus fight sequence, and it went right through to the very end of that, actually. So with the bus bit resolved and her pulling the engines off the pirate ship, and then kind of ended there.
Nice.
And then at the fan event, they showed us basically the first half an hour of the film, but with a few key bits cut out. So there was odd bits of dialogue that had been shaved out of it, and they fully cut the scene where Kara meets puppy Crypto for the first time. So I didn't see that until later. So those are the bits that I had already seen.
Nice. That's cool. That's cool to know in hindsight what you actually got to see before everyone else. Love that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had never done 4DX before, and I'm not sure that I could quite sit through it for a. I mean, to be fair, this film's what, 1 hour and 47, including credits, and there is no post-credit scene. I would only be able to really do it for a film that I knew would have a lot of like bang for the buck, and that sequence was really interesting because. I mean, if you've done 4DX before, then please tell me that I'm telling suck eggs. I didn't think it would move all that much. I was expecting it to be a little like sort of bumpy. But like literally when the lights went down, the chairs like unlocked and lifted up, and I was like, oh, I'm on a roller coaster. And as the camera was moving around the bus to sort of pan between where Kara was sitting and her, like when she was talking to the guy that was opposite her that was smoking, and then when she got up and there was a bit of turbulence as she went to like do that amazing, like, I can't tell if it's CGI or not, where she like screams at the thing that's trying to hurt Ruthie.
Yeah.
The seat was still moving, like it was following the pan and it was following the turbulence of the bus. And then when the fight broke out, obviously, well, as there were like punches and stuff, we were getting properly thrown left and right. But then when Kara got thrown outside and she used her heat vision, the explosions, there was like strobe lighting as well as the smoke. I knew there would be effects like smoke. And when she went up into space and froze for a second, there was water and ice and stuff that was just like spraying around. There was just there was a lot more going on than I thought there would be.
Yeah, I've not done one because it sounds really overwhelming. I don't think I could concentrate on the film because I'd be too like thrown about.
I am a popcorn scoffer. When I watch a film, I will eat an entire like large popcorn for a family of 4 to myself. And you could not do that in 4DX because it would be like it would be everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd drink my like gallon of Diet Coke during that because like I'd be stabbing my eye out.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience where you're going to be locked in on the roller coaster aspect of it rather than like eating your pick and mix and your popcorn and eating a giant slushy, drinking a slushy.
Oh my god!
So go on, right, Michael. We haven't heard. Like I have seen what Aaron scored this on Letterboxd on the Instagram story. I've got a vague idea as to whether he enjoyed this film or not. Michael, let's start with you. Thoughts on Supergirl?
Okay. I enjoyed it. I really liked the main character. I really thought Millie Alcock did a really good job.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed Jason Momoa as Lobo. I thought he did also a really good job. He was my second favorite part of the film. That's kind of where my enjoyment stopped.
Okay.
I thought, because I know Woman of Tomorrow is one of the biggest, like one of her biggest stories. It's a really popular comic, if not one of the most popular comics. And I really thought they sucked a lot of the life and the energy out of her story. I feel like her and Rufy's story is supposed to, like, you know, Kara's supposed to be at the end of this like trauma where she's abandoned, she's got no family because they've all died. Rufy's family have all died, and she's supposed to be at the beginning of that trauma, and they're supposed to like, learn from each other and swap. And I just feel like they did a really bad job at like making the two characters connect. It just felt like Kara was on her own journey and she had this weird British girl following her around for an hour and a half, and it just felt really disjointed for me, which was really annoying.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I will also say that the action sequences were really top level. I feel like they were really good, and I really enjoyed them. But yeah, I really struggled. I did enjoy it. It wasn't that it was a bad movie. I just feel like as a DC fan, and in the back of my head, I could hear James Gunn being like, "We're not gonna make a movie till the script's been greenlit," and I could hear all of these things he's been saying, and I was like, "But this, what happened?" I'm like, "This doesn't feel like it was ready. Like, I feel like it needed one more round of just like some edits and like, yeah." I just it was sad.
No, that's look. This is the point. There has been so much like online discourse around this film that it has driven me absolutely nuts in the last week. The amount of people who have been replying to me on social media with memes of Millie that I will not even go into the detail of what she has been made to look like. It has driven me nuts. I'm like, if you aren't interested, just fuck off and just don't be interested. It's fine to not be interested. If you aren't, it's fine. Just leave people alone who are interested. And if you didn't like it, that is also fine. Just engage in a normal conversation about it, as we are right now. Like, I enjoyed it. You did. You know, there are bits that you didn't. That is fine. We're going to get into it. By the way, I forgot to say there will be spoilers for this. So if you've not seen it yet, you may want to stop as of about 2 minutes ago and come back. Because there will be spoilers. It's fine as long as you can just have a healthy and grown-up conversation about it. If you just want to troll people who enjoyed it for the sake of it, then just don't bother. Anyway, Aaron, what was your initial reaction on watching this one?
I kind of went into a bit. Let me start again. I kind of went into it a little bit scared because I'd heard mostly decent things, and then like most of the reactions and reviews that dropped the day before were incredibly mixed. So I'm like, oh, this could go either way. And I came away from it enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. It is not perfect. I think if we're viewing the vast array of DCU films we've had up to this point, I think I do prefer Superman in the grand scheme of things. It's weird because that one felt more cluttered and scattered with like, oh, there's this character and there's this character and there's this thing happening and there's this thing happening. This one does feel more focused in that sense, but at the same time, I think like Michael said, there's something about the film as a whole that feel like it just needed a little bit more cleaning before it went out into the public. But I can't deny that I didn't have a lot of fun with this film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of I knew there was going to be a lot of needle drops, but some of them did throw me off in a good way because I was just not expecting them to use that sort of music. And I'm not overly... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off. No Blondie. No Blondie in the actual film. I know she's wearing the Debbie Harry t-shirt, but no actual Blondie in the film was a little bit confusing for me.
I was waiting for that to kick in.
Yeah. Sorry, please do carry on. Sorry. I did not mean to throw you off track.
I mean, the only thing I was going to say is, like, I only bought this the other week to read it ahead of the film, but obviously it's been hot. The last thing I want to be doing is using brain capacity to read, and also I've been very busy, so I haven't had a chance to read it. I've only read bits and pieces of it so far, but I haven't given it a full thing. But considering I'm not au fait with the book, I thought this was really enjoyable from like a story perspective. There were certain elements that did get on the nerves a little bit, but I kind of warmed to them as the film went on. Whether that's Ruthie or not, I don't know, but we'll get to that.
I think that what they tried to do was take the book and take the heart of the book and the sort of core emotional element of it and just rewrap it into a more... family friendly seems like the wrong thing because it's not like Superman in a family friendly way. Try to turn it into a more let's go more accessible, like a more accessible popcorn blockbuster. And so you do lose some of the nuance from the book about that personal journey when they're trying to blow it up a little bit more into the high stakes hero versus villain story. So I do think some of that messaging got a little bit lost, which is a shame. But then some really wonderful nods, like one of the planets that they go to is called Bilky, and Bilky Everly is the name of the artist who did the original book with Tom King. So I like some of that stuff. It's clear that I think the saddest thing about it is it's clear that they really had a lot of love for the book and wanted to do right by the book, and just in the adaptation, it just didn't quite land as well as it should have. I think for me, I really loved Kara. I think Millie's amazing, and I think Millie is perfect casting for this version of Supergirl as well, because she could really carry off. Like, I really believed that she was kind of broken as a person, and when she's talking to Ruthie right before we go into the Kryptonian flashback, I really believe in that moment how kind of lost she is. And I love that whole thing about, we'd seen part of it in the trailer where she sort of says Superman is a lot lighter than she is and he's a bit of a nerd. But then when she sort of says he hasn't been through the things that she's been through, so his heart is light and hers isn't, I really feel the weight of what she's feeling in those moments. I would have liked to have felt her journey a little bit more. But then I think there are moments where it does work well, like in her interactions with Clark. I love when she's like brushing her teeth and just trying to like just get rid of him off that video call. And then the very, very final scene of the film with the two of them together, I think is really wonderful. Like, I think there's a great dynamic between Millie and David, which is exciting for Man of Tomorrow, knowing that they're going to spend a lot more time on screen together, like physically in the room as well. I think my biggest issue was Krem, because Krem in the book it looks a lot more just straightforward. It's definitely not as severe a look as it is in the film. The Pinhead look is really interesting. It definitely makes him a more visual character, but I just feel like it lost some of the impact in how it was done. Because if you try and like sort of think about it in terms of what he is in the film and what he's doing, he is a people trafficker. He is literally a people trafficker, and he's sex trafficking all of these young girls. He is a horrible person. But because he dips in and out of the film and he isn't sort of omnipresent, I don't feel like it quite has the right kind of impact that you're like, well, he really is like an abhorrent person. But Matthias Schoenaerts really, like, what he is given, I feel like he does a great performance with, which leaves me really sort of torn on the character. Because I'm like, it's a great portrayal, but it's a great portrayal that needed more to it in terms of how it was written. It leaves me very on the fence with him.
I agree. I think the writing for me, I think what I wrote down in my notes, I actually think is, in my opinion, an interesting point. I think what this film needed was a writer-director person. I think the writer and the director here clearly had two separate visions of what they were trying to say and get across. And just somewhere in the process, little things like the villain and like the things that they're trying to say got lost. Because James Gunn did Superman, right? He directed and wrote.
Yes, he did. Yeah, whereas you had Anna Nogueira, who wrote the script for this, and Craig Gillespie, who directed.
I think for me, film missed. I think it needed a female director. I think a female POV would have. I think it would have added to some of these beats where like these men, like space alien men, are trafficking women. I think it could have done with that female POV. I think it would have really took the character in the film to the level that I would have loved personally.
Yeah. Because obviously he's known for I, Tonya, which is very female empowerment, as well as Cruella, which is extremely sort of female empowerment. So I think he's sort of seen as a male director who really understands some of the female journey, which is, I know, almost slightly counterproductive to say, but his track record is that he can understand these very messy female leads.
Yeah, I feel on paper, like when I went after the film and I googled and I had a deep dive into like what films he'd done, I was like, on paper you should absolutely have smashed it up the part. And I think maybe that was just a little bit sad, I guess, because like he does understand this world, but I would have been curious to see what a female director would have done versus what he did. Do you know what I mean? Like that writer director, that combo of writer director where they're in it and they've completely crafted it from the ground up, I think is what this film could have benefited from just a smidge.
Yeah.
Understandable.
One thing that really impressed me, which I hadn't sort of anticipated from it, was the amount of practical set design, yes, but also makeup design. Like a lot of those aliens were practical, and were only really sort of touches of visual effects here and there. So like when she's in the first bar, I was really impressed by all of those little alien designs that were going on in there. And then the same on the bar where she meets Lobo as well. Some great designs in there too.
Agreed.
Yeah,
kids outside my window.
I was going to say the bit where she first goes on the bus and you get that shot going down the bus of all the aliens. I don't know. I know what I mean when I say this. It reminded me of the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek film, like where they're on the shuttle seeing the Enterprise for the first time, and you get like a nice array of human-looking people, but also weird, wacky alien designs. And I really like that. It's weird because like I was just going to go back and say that like with Craig Gillespie directing it, I was expecting a bit of that punkiness from Cruella, but this felt, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the film, but like this felt very safe in comparison, like from a stylistic perspective. And maybe, like Michael said, it did need that writer-director sort of feel to it, because there are elements of this film where it felt like unintentionally like Diet Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit, which then contradicts with like the really like kind of dark themes of, you know, the trafficking, and then when it gets more emotional. But I don't know. I think that's the one area I felt a bit conflicted about, but I do like the practical elements.
I do feel like it wears its influence on its sleeve quite a lot. Like, I know they intentionally, and this was not in the script, put the orange headphones in there as a little nod to James, which is one thing. But then the Mad Max type elements later on feel almost... and forced isn't the right word. That's not the word I want to use at all. It's like, oh, Mad Max inspired, and it's like
an afterthought.
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? It's like I shouldn't quite be looking at it and think. I should just be thinking, oh, I can understand what the influences are. Not here are the influences on screen.
Yeah, it's like when I left the cinema, I looked to my boyfriend. I was like, oh, it's like if they put Supergirl in a Mad Max meets John Wick infused film with like a James Gunn lens. And I was like, and that on paper sounds actually incredible. I'm like, yes, sign me up. But like, it shouldn't be so obvious, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I do like. Okay, let's just talk about the crypto stuff then. Like, it got me both times I watched it, but the first time when he gets shot with the dart and he's having his little, when he's lying on the ground and having a fit, I didn't like it. Not in a I thought this was bad way. In a like, it made me really upset.
Yeah, it was quite jarring.
It actually is, but I think you kind of have to applaud them for that, because it's not even a real dog.
Yeah, it's not even there.
If you can make me like, if I'm choked up at the idea of a CGI dog being hit with a dart and being poisoned, then well done.
Yeah.
So in the book, that the whole poisoning thing is very different. Firstly, the book plays out over months, where the film only plays out over 3 days. But the whole poison dart thing and finding the antidote is very, very different in the book to how it is in the film. I feel like they thought that was going to be their golden bullet for adding some really like intense pacing and make it have this like slightly adrenaline fueled, like we have to save him sense, which I didn't necessarily feel all that. She has a couple of good moments where she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not making great decisions because I'm worried about my dog and I have to get back to my dog. But it didn't. The ticking clock was good, but not great for me.
Yes,
agreed. Completely agree. And I actually think I'd have to go back and double check. But when we left, my boyfriend said, "I swear they've messed up the continuity, because there was a part where she goes, I've only got 2 days left," and then like a fight sequence happens, and he was like, and then all of a sudden she goes, "I've got a day left." I'm like, where did the day go? Like, I think the timing was off in one of the sequences.
I didn't spot it, but it could be there.
I didn't spot it either. He mentioned it. It was like, I swear it was wrong. Could be.
They sort of don't do that very typical traditional thing of like, you literally are out of time. In a like, she gets back to him with an antidote and time has already run out. Will it still work? They kind of don't do that bit of it. They sort of skip that part of the traditional idea of that sort of storyline.
Touching on the music, I thought the music choices were really random. I saw an article today before we started recording that the director spent ages. I think he went over like 40 different songs for the needle drop moment.
The final needle drop took. There were Yes.
And I feel like when I was thinking back to the film, I was like, some of these choices, like musically, I'm like, I would, like you said, where's Blondie? Like, I feel like there were so many like obvious choices that would have made so much sense that they just missed out on. And also,
So
that
I
cover of
think-
The Middle by Jimmy Eat World was not great.
I think,
Yeah.
he says as a nearly 41-year-old man, they were very much, I reckon there's a version of that where needle drops are a little bit more generational. And this is the how do we appeal to a young female market version of the needle drops. Because most of those bands, I have no idea who they were.
Well, hang on a
Until
minute.
you got to Jimmy Eat World, and I was like, whoa, Jimmy Eat World. And obviously it wasn't actually Jimmy Eat World. The first watch, when that song started, I was like, whoa, why are you cutting through this big fight moment with a slow ballady version of a song? But then the second time I watched it, it kind of made sense to me, and it didn't bother me the first time. I just thought it was an interesting choice. The second time I was like, I kind of get it. You're sort of you're showing me what she's doing, and you're trying to tell me with this song that this is her telling herself that it's okay, and this is the moment where she's like, do you know what? I am actually all right. And I kind of thought, you know what? I appreciate it. But I know some people are really not keen on it. It seems to be quite a big talking point. But yes, you are right. I think it's an interview in Variety where Craig says that they didn't lock in the song until basically the final week of editing. And there were 40, I think he said 45 different songs that they had tried in that moment to find the right one.
Yeah, I'm currently looking through the soundtrack because I think I might have said this in the group chat that we're both in, Neil, but there was one, the bus fight in particular, like the song that appears during that is Wolf Alice, and I love Wolf Alice, but then half the time I'm like, why is a Wolf Alice song here?
I really liked that placement. I liked that song in there.
No, don't get me wrong, I like it, but I'm just like, whereas older songs do fit better, like after a certain decade, they fit better for, again, that sort of Guardians of the Galaxy, even Superman style thing. That sort of mishmash of contradictory styles that makes it work. Whereas here, you've got, as I'm looking at the soundtrack, out of all the bands, two of them are not fronted by a woman. Everybody else is either a female singer-songwriter or a band that is fronted by a woman. I think the only exceptions are Modest Mouse and Eagles of Death Metal, which I think that one comes in when Lobo wreaks havoc on the ship at the end.
Yeah.
Everything else has got is a female fronted band, which I like the idea. But again, if you're going to commit to that, again, adding some Blondie in there or some more classic tracks rather than these tracks like from Halsey or Wet Leg or Wolf Alice for bands that like people nowadays know, like modern younger audiences know, but not everybody knows. Like the bus scene, I was the entire time I was just thinking, this is a Wolf Alice song, and I was more distracted by that, less so than it would be. I know I'm probably butchering the point.
No,
here,
I get what you're saying.
Okay,
if it was like a classic bit of rock music like Blondie or even like Joan Jett, or the Pretenders or someone
Makes
like that.
edgier.
Yeah, and you've got that generational thing that multiple different audiences can connect to rather than, oh, let's throw in Wet Leg or Wolf Alice or these things that are going to appeal more to a younger indie audience for some reason.
Yeah. Wet Leg.
I really hate the name Wet Leg. I don't know. I really. This is not a comment on them as a band because I really don't know them. I just, whenever I hear the name Wet Leg, I just picture like a pile of wet paper towels, and it just makes me go like, like nails on a chalkboard feeling.
My image is like someone's wearing knee-high socks and just went like leg first into a puddle, and then they but yeah, that's like my one gripe with the soundtrack.
There is something to be said about what needle drops can do for a film to add to it or take away from it. So I think it's something that people will come away from this film talking about it a lot because James Gunn is known for his needle drops in his films. It's part of his filmmaking style.
Yeah.
So one thing that I think has been talked about a lot about this film, both before and after release, is the influence of James Gunn. So James, look, you can't avoid it. James Gunn is the co-head of the studio. Fair play. He did not write this film. He did not direct this film. He was not constantly on set for this film. I don't feel like I can feel his creative control over it personally. Like no. I don't feel like there are moments that were very Craig Gillespie that you can then feel him going, hang on a minute, that's not how I would do it. Make it Gunn. Which some people do, to the point where there are quite a few people on social media, whether it's genuine or not, is up for anyone's guess, but where people are referring to it as kind of James Gunn's Supergirl, and there are people who are like, I can't believe what James Gunn did with this film, and it's like, well, nothing.
I mean, I'm going to use a really old example here, but this is reminding me a little bit of the Poltergeist incident, where like Toby Hooper directed it, but it's so much like a Spielberg film, and he was so much involvement on the set, people just kind of say, oh, that's Spielberg's Poltergeist, even though he didn't direct the thing, and he's kind of said multiple times, I didn't direct it. And now that you mention that, it does go back to that thing I kind of felt with the film, is that like it does feel like a diet Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's not as much of Craig Gillespie's usual punky sort of edgy directing style in there. I mean, he's not the edgiest director in the world, but like he can put those stylistic things into films like I, Tonya or Cruella.
I think Cruella's a great example, because Cruella is obviously a big studio film.
Yeah.
And Disney always, no offense, play safe.
Yeah.
But he was still able to feel like him in a Disney-eyed way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you look at Cruella was quite out there for a Disney film. Like it was like the messaging, and again, I'm fairly certain it uses Blondie in its soundtrack. It has these really punk aspects to just what it's trying to achieve. Like it's not reinventing the wheel, but it's presenting the wheel in a way that's like edgy and cool and colorful and different. And I do think that sauce is what was missing from Supergirl. For whatever
I was even gonna compare it to Marvel. Like, even though in recent years they've been very controlling on certain projects, there are still like quite a vast majority where, like, yes, Thor Ragnarok does feel like a Taika Waititi film just with a Marvel coat of paint, or Guardians 1, 2, and 3 very distinctly feel like James Gunn films, but with, again, a Marvel coat of paint on them. And again, I don't know. I just feel like if they'd done a few different things here and there, because again, not that I'm bringing it back to the soundtrack again, but like I feel like putting the original version of The Middle in there would have worked a bit better. I know it takes away from having almost every track on the soundtrack being female fronted, but people have more of a reverence to the original than, say, this really obscure cover that I'd never heard of until like the film. And I'm presuming Jimmy Eat World have done an acoustic version of that song somewhere. Like, like the first thing I'm thinking of is Guardians 3 opens with an acoustic cover of Radiohead doing Creep. Like that is the same band doing that song in a slower tempo to establish the mood of the film. Why you could have done that with this one, and I don't know. I don't get me wrong. I like this film, but I feel like I'm making a really rant about it.
It does. It feels like we're being overly critical on it. I mean, I gave it 4 stars and I loved it, and I unapologetically loved it, and I'm wearing Kara on my t-shirt right now. Wait, that side.
No.
And I will support it until the end of time. But you're right. It is. There's a lot that we can talk about, and I wonder whether. Sorry, Michael. I will come to you in just a sec. Before this goes out of my head, because it was floating around in there. I wonder whether some of this, maybe the learning for DC here, is because obviously this is the first project in the DCU that is not directed by Gunn. So it'll be interesting to see what Lanterns is like, because maybe part of this is the learning curve of, him and Peter Safran have put this together as a universe. They're trying to launch this universe on this studio. So rightly, they have had a really close bit of control on the first bit. Gunn wrote Creature Commandos and was very, very deep in how that was executed. He wrote and directed Superman. That's our first theatrical piece. He didn't direct I don't think he ended up. Did he direct any of Peacemaker season 2 in the end? I'm not sure that he did, but he wrote a lot of Peacemaker season 2. So it's all been very, very Gunn, which is why it's all very tight and all very coherent. This is the first time we've handed it off to a writer who's not Gunn and a director who's not Gunn. So maybe part of it is the learning curve of how do they keep their coherent universe when they have a little bit less of their voice in it. Maybe that's the learning here, is like with the other creators who are part of it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the answer to that is, if you look at Matt Reeves is so heavily involved in writing and directing his version of Batman. They need to find people and basically lock them in for a few films. Be like, right, you're the designated Wonder Woman person. You are going to write and direct the life out. You are going to live, eat, breathe Wonder Woman. Because I think having people come in and have like a director do one thing and a writer do another thing, it just shows that when James Gunn's in the seat, James Gunn's writing it, he's directing it, he has the vision, and he needs to basically recruit people underneath him that can basically extend his vision when he's not around. And I think that's one thing Marvel's struggled with, and I think he's in the position to do what Marvel can't do, which is basically have mini-me's of him running around underneath, basically extending DC out into all these different avenues and really controlling it and quality controlling it in a good way. Like it'd be so cool if you could find like 2 or 3 people just to like sit and just crack on. It's so good.
I was going to say, on top of what you've both said, is that like the first real test I think for seeing this play out is going to be Clayface, because I feel like that's the first proper curveball in this lineup in its entirety, because it's not a film they originally planned for. He just liked it so much they added it in anyway. So I feel like that's going to be the first one where we see this sort of extreme clash of styles maybe put to the test, hopefully in a good way.
All I will say is that people who I speak to, who may or may not know things and have seen things, are very, 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 very happy with what they have seen of Clayface. So, but then people said the same thing about Supergirl. People have said the same thing about plenty of other things.
I've heard Clayface is going to be an 18.
I think it will be. It's definitely. It might come down to the wire here in the UK. It'll definitely be R-rated in America. Sometimes that falls into a 15 here. It depends on the language. But the thing that I'm hearing a lot about at the moment is a shot from Clayface that's in the trailer and what it actually is when you see it in the film. And I will tell you, just because it sounds awesome, there's a shot in the trailer where he's on a plane. You can see he's in like an airplane bathroom, and like his eyes are sealing up. Apparently in that sequence he has to find a pair of nail scissors and cut his own eyes open. So I'm like, yes, give me all the body horror.
Body horror, very The Substance.
Yes.
Love that.
Apparently he really has no control over it, so it's things like, his mouth will seal up and he's going to feel like he can't breathe, and he's got to try and like cut into himself to be able to get to things until he can control those powers. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I am very, very excited. I was feeling more excited for that film than I was Supergirl, just because of that first trailer. We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, I think one thing to note is that like I feel like I've been really critical of this film. I did enjoy it, and just because I'm critical of it doesn't mean I don't like it and I didn't enjoy it. It's just I'm a fan of this world and this character, and I care about it.
I mean, if you look at the reviews for this film, apart from Variety, even the more negative ones are very, very pro Millie, and they feel that she is amazing, that she is well cast, and that it's other elements of the film that have let her down. So I don't think anyone is coming out of this film not looking forward to seeing more of her in the future and seeing more of Supergirl. I feel very much like anyone who is giving this film a chance is like, okay, speed bump in terms of a film that maybe didn't land as well, but some amazing elements that we can't wait to see continue through the DCU in the future. And there were so many people, like I've heard from people over the last couple of days who are just feeling really down about the fact that this film's not necessarily performing as well as Superman. I don't think it ever would have. I don't see it. There's no universe where it would have opened to 125 mil like Superman did. But, she's in Man of Tomorrow. She's shot a lot of her part already. They're more than halfway through production. She's not going anywhere. Okay, there might not be a Supergirl 2 right now, but that doesn't mean that they won't land on something down the line that will be like, do you know what, we want to give it another shot. She is still a very, very important part of the DCU and will continue to be there. So do not worry about that. Like, she is here to stay.
I need them to recreate my favorite Supergirl moment, which is when her and Superman are fighting Darkseid, and she does one of the coolest scenes I think I've seen in any format, like action-wise, where she's been chased by the beam and she goes behind Darkseid, grabs him, kicks him in the knees, and flips him over. I need to see her do that in live action, like tomorrow, because I know she can do it, and it'd look cool.
There's a lot to be excited about. There is a lot to still be excited about. Is there anything else that you think we've not touched on? I feel like we've covered pretty much. Actually, do you know what? We've talked a lot about music, but not about the score. What did either of you guys pick up on the score? Did you like it? Did you like her theme?
Loved it.
Yeah, loved it. There's one bit in particular. To be honest, my favorite scene in the whole film is the entire middle bit on Argo.
How have we not talked about? Yeah, we have to talk about Argo.
Yeah, but I was going to say that whole sequence legitimately choked me up, and it's like the first time in the film where, like, don't get me wrong, the crypto stuff did choke me up as well, but like that whole sequence just worked. Yeah, and I think part of that is down to the score, because there's that lovely shot where she's getting sent off in the escape pod. And it looks back at her dad.
That music is incredible.
Chef's kiss.
So good.
It's quite a short soundtrack. It's only 49 minutes long. But it is. There are some really standout moments. But yes, I'm sorry, Argo. We have to. Yeah, that sequence is the highlight of the film. It's so good. Like I've been trying to explain it to people. It's the fact that, like, especially the scene between David Krumholtz and Millie Alcock, where they're both crying, and she's like, just put me in the ground, just let me die and let me lie in the ground with you and Mum. Like, no one in that scene speaks a word of English. We're only reading subtitles, and yet you feel everything that both of them are saying. It is just incredible.
I think it's also really impressive that, like, for films like this, sometimes a flashback sequence can, like, really slow the pacing down. But this is like the one point in the film where, like, I'm fully locked in. And I'm like, I just want to learn, again, because I'm not 100% fully adversed with the comic. I just want to know what happened. Obviously, I know about Krypton's destruction, but, you know, that whole segment just had me, like, in the palm of its hand.
Well, I was a bit like, well, I'm going to presume that, considering she's been out traveling around space, that she's tried to find Argo, and it's just a floating, like, I mean, here is a scene that would have given the film some edge. That's probably a floating mausoleum at this point. Several years later, which is grim. But yeah, I did wonder whether there was a chance her dad was still alive somewhere.
I really hope so. He's working at the North Pole.
I mean, if you want to be critical, like really nitpicky critical, could he have not gotten in there with her and gone off world? And would he not have healed maybe in front of a yellow sun? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
What did you think of those moments, Michael?
I thought they were really good. I thought it showed that Millie's obviously got a really good range as an actor, because she really had me going. Not that I ever doubted her, because I've seen her in House of the Dragon. I know how good she is. But when I was watching it, I was like, oh, we're in for a good journey with this one, because she can do the punch in, the kick in, but then she can also, like, balance it with the sadness and, like, the emotional beats. But it was really good. I thought it was honestly some of the best parts of the film.
In case you haven't seen this already, this is the sexy vinyl.
It's so good. It's so well done.
So the cover is art by Bilky. So Bilky has done some art of Millie for it, which is the cover. Cute. And then it's only a 3-sided vinyl, and then the 4th side is literally just an art disc of BS. It's releasing in September, and you can pick it up from Mutant. I'm not sponsored by them. I just buy all of their vinyl.
They are really good. Speaking of the outfit, I actually thought the outfit was really good.
Yep.
I was wondering about this going into it, because the Supergirl outfit, obviously, like the little boots and the little skirt thing, like, I was like, is it going to look a bit cheesy? Like, do we need to leave that in animation? But I actually thought it looked really cool, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the outfit.
Yep. I mean, obviously, we don't get a lot of time with it, which is sad, but I
No.
think it makes sense for the story, and it looks great when she finally puts it on. I like that it's sort of symbolic to her journey as to who she is.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so I gave this 4 stars. Aaron, your score?
I gave it 3.5, but I wouldn't be surprised if it teeters to maybe a 4. It probably might stay 3.5, but it might teeter to a 4 on future watches.
And Michael?
TBC. 3.
Very fair. Which
Same.
is still a positive response. If you
Still
ask me,
positive
3 out
from
of
that
5 is
score.
still more than half.
Yeah, it is a solid score. Just room for some more love and growth.
And where we are right now, as we are recording this, it's fallen back to 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. It got back up to 60. I've never known a film yo-yo between fresh and rotten so much. It got back up to 60. It's fallen back to 56% with 275 reviews. So it's probably not going to change all that much now. Surely, we're still in a position where over half of the reviews are skewing positive. So why is it then considered a rotten film? That disconnect for me doesn't work.
Yeah, agree. Because this is by no means a rotten film. It is like, of all of the comic book films that exist in the world, this is by no means one of the worst. It's solid. It's good. It does its job. I think. Yeah. It just that doesn't sit right. Like, you can't have 2 characters, Superman and Supergirl, being exactly the same. Like, they need to have different things, like different textures, different things that make them balance each other out. Otherwise, you're going to have 2 of the same character, and then that's boring. So
and I do think there's a group of people that think that this is just female Superman, which it's not.
Yeah, it's not. And I feel like her story's so different, and like her background's different, and the way she fights and all that kind of stuff's different, and it needs to be. So people just need to.
He definitely wouldn't have made the same choice that she did at the end of this film.
No, and I think that's part of it, and that's what makes her interesting. Is she is so different, and them 2 together don't necessarily, do the same things or like have the same morals, I guess. So yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we need to say about Supergirl. I think we've said more than enough.
I agree.
Have you been out and watched Supergirl this weekend? If so, what did you think? Let us know in the comments, or find us on social media at Get Your Comic Con on all platforms. Let us know what you thought of this film. Be respectful, or I will block you. Because, we only want to hear the constructive things and not just, Millie's ugly, which is totally not true.
No.
And if you have seen it and you did enjoy it, please go see it again and support it, because it's, at the same time, a wonderful film that deserves your support and love out there. But it's also not the end of the world if you didn't like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming up. We've got some busy weeks ahead. X-Men 97 is back very, very soon. If you need a recap of what happened in season 1, especially that big old cliffhanger that left us in the position where we are going to be at the beginning of season 2, Aaron has you covered with a little season 1 recap, which is up on the website now, getyourcomiccon.co.uk. I need to do something similar for Caped Crusader season 1 and season 2. My Adventures with Superman is unraveling at the moment every Sunday on HBO Max, and if you want to see my review of that, up on the website now. Michael and I are about to have a clash of universes in comics with Batman Bad Seeds, which I think we did touch on last episode, but that's kicking off on the 26th of August in Poison Ivy number 47, which is going to be a prelude to this event storyline where Poison Ivy is going to take over Gotham City, and it's basically for the entire of August and September, and I think into the beginning of October, is all going to be comics set in one night, one hellish night in Gotham City. So we have that is going on. What's the next big film? Oh, Spider-Man.
Well, there is the Odyssey. There is
also the Odyssey. Yeah, we have Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which is on the way, and then we're into Spider-Man Brand New Day territory. So we're about to get super, super busy with lots to talk about, which is good.
Plus, there's a lot out of the cinemas at the moment. There is a lot.
Also, the return of Star Trek. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is back in towards the end of July 23rd, I think it is, for season 4. There is a small chance I might be talking to some of the cast week after next on that one, which could be really funny, because I might be saying to Anson Mount, hello, me again, second time. We chatted for the end of season 3. We're chatting for the start of season 4. Maybe we'll be chatting about your return as the voice of Batman quite soon too. Hey. Guys going to be fed up with me.
Yeah, sick of seeing you. I'm joking. No one could ever be sick of seeing you.
Thank you. Anything else that you guys have got coming up that you want to shout out? at the moment?
We've started covering We Be Me, Overwatch, and Marvel Rivals over on the website.
Yes, there's stuff that needs posting.
There's some stuff that's come out. I kicked it off by covering both the new seasons of Marvel Rivals and Overwatch, and they did really well. So yeah, make sure you check them out because they're new and it's exciting and it's really fun. And yeah, I love it.
I like how you had a revelation and realization that was mashed into one word, a revelation. When you messaged me and you were like, I spend a lot of time gaming. Can I write about that? Like, yeah, you can.
Yeah. I was in the back end of the Get Your Comic Con website looking at what everyone was up to. And I was like, what do I do that I could talk about? Because I'm like, what do I do? I game a lot. I did because I was uploading one of my reviews. I was like, I'm just gonna have a scroll and see what everyone else is up to because I was bored. And I was like,
you're not the only one that does that. There are other people who message me and they're like, "Oh, someone's doing this. Can I do this?" And I'm like, "Oh God, you're all looking at what each other's doing."
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes you get in a bit of a rut. You know, you're like, "What else could I do? What more could I be doing?" Because it's obviously a cool thing to do. So yeah, so gaming. So we're covering Marvel Rivals and we're covering Overwatch. I think primarily it's going to be new character releases and new seasons, just because no one's bothered about the small patch updates. But yeah,
Aaron, what else you got going on at the moment?
It's a bit quiet on my end. There are, I don't know when they're dropping, but we've got new, I don't know how to word this, pieces dropping on the website for upcoming comic book films.
Yes. There's lots. Spider-Man will be some stuff coming up.
Yeah, I've done one for X-Men and I've done one for Spider-Man, whereby we kind of just list 5 comics to get you into that character or group of characters if you've never read that character before, because I know a lot of people are probably going directly into these films not having read said comics. So it's literally just like a very rough bullet point list of, if you want to get into some of the comics, these are like the best ones to go with. Like I said, I've done one for X-Men, I've done one for Spider-Man, so expect them to drop around those releases. There is one for Supergirl. I don't know if there is or not.
Everything Supergirl is out now on the website. There shouldn't be anything left to come for that one.
Okay. But yeah, we want to try and, I know when I spoke to Neil about that idea, we want to try and do that more often for upcoming superhero comic book related things.
I've got one more thing to shout out actually, and I have a visual prop to go with it.
Oh,
go on.
So if you happen to be a Doctor Who fan, there's obviously, it's a little bit quiet on things at the moment while the BBC, maybe this is a topic for another day about the future of Doctor Who, but whilst there is no TV show at the moment, they have just kicked off this interesting attempt at like a mixed media story. It's called Circuit Breaker, and it's about the fugitive Doctor, Joe Martin. And it's partly aspects of storytelling on the Unit website, and then it's going to go into a comic book. So there's a Circuit Breaker comic book coming from Titan Comics, and there's also audio books and other bits and pieces mixed in. That's this story of some around the fugitive Doctor and I think the Daleks. My task for today is to open my Unit file and crack the first chapter of the story, which has been sent to me by the BBC, which is really awesome because I've never worked with them on anything before. But it's this really interesting attempt to tell a story across all of the different Doctor Who mixed media. So that is worth checking out. It just kicked off a couple of days ago. If you go to the official website of Unit, you've got to crack passwords and things to figure out different aspects of the first chapter of the story to tell what's going on. So if you're a fan of Doctor Who and craving some new content, then that's a really interesting one that's going on right now.
Love it.
Okay.
It's very different.
Well, that's it. So that just leaves me to say stay safe, stay well, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.